Hey everyone, welcome to this live stream event with Kadence and The Good. Today we are going to be doing some teardowns. We're going to be looking at some amazing websites that have been built with Kadence, and we're going to take a look at how to make them better. Basically, we're going to be looking at conversions, like how do you get someone on your site, an e-commerce site, get them from being a site visitor into being a customer. And of course, I've got Ben here with me, Ben Ritner, the founder of
Right.
Kadence. How you doing today, Ben?
Good. I'm excited. It's fun to have an expert join us, like somebody way above our league. So this is really cool.
No
Oh, well,
pressure there, Ben.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
John, you're wearing the crown today. John MacDonald from The Good is here with us. And I want to just give a little bit of a backstory because it was very serendipitous how this all kind of came together. Obviously, Kadence launched, I think it was in July, we launched a product shop kit, Kadence Shop Kit 2.0, which allows people to take WooCommerce to the next level by customizing how people are showing their products. And one of the things that I was talking about in one of our blog posts was how important page speed is when you are selling products with your e-commerce storefront. And so I looked around for some great research because obviously I want some data to back up my assertions, and I found The Good. And I'm like, this is great research. Go look at it, link to it. And conversations just kind of happened from there, very serendipitously. And so we were really excited to hear about some of The Good's experience. And we wanted to bring that to the Kadence community. So that's kind of the serendipitous way we came across you, John. Why don't you fill in a little bit about how The Good came to be and your background with e-commerce?
Great question. So we've been in business for over almost 15 years now. We focus exclusively on helping brands to convert more of their existing visitors into buyers. So we don't do anything with driving traffic. We're not a marketing agency, anything of that sort. We've worked with brands like Nike, Xerox, Adobe, The Economist, as well as hundreds of smaller brands as well over the years. So excited to be here today. But yeah, we do these type of live landing page critiques and teardowns somewhat often. And I was telling you the other day when we did a little tech check that I haven't done as many of them over the past few months, and I'm excited to get back in the saddle and do more of these. It's always a good experience.
Excellent. Well, we're excited to be here. And we want to just thank all of the people from the Kadence community who submitted their sites. We put out a call asking for anybody in Kadence community to submit a site that we could look at and basically give you some constructive criticism. In so doing, this is going to elevate anybody who's watching today, give you some ideas and actionable ways that you can improve the conversions on your site. So John, what site do we want to start with? Do you have
Yeah, we've got a couple of sites up here, and so we can easily go through these. Let me rearrange my windows a little bit here, but so let's start with this one. Jevan, I believe is how you'd say it. Jevan. So first things, I always like to look at these and jump right into first impressions, right? So really you have, as a brand, a couple of seconds to really connect with a visitor. And the first thing you want to understand is, and this is the biggest mistake we see people make, is when somebody comes to your website, they have a pain or need they're looking to solve, right? And that's why they're at your site, to solve their pain or need, and then to convert as quickly and easily as possible if they've determined you can help them. Anything outside of that is really just not why people are at your site. However, so many brands continue to market at customers, right? So you think about it this way. A visitor heard about you from a friend and came to your site, or they saw you at a store and they're on their phone getting more details, or they clicked on an ad that resonated with them. All of those things are reasons people came to your site. Nobody is here just to kill time, right? You're not Facebook, you're not YouTube, right? So keep that in mind, that really when people come to your site, you want to stop marketing and start selling. And if you take that approach, you will have a much more highly converting site. And now I'm not saying your site should be void of brand messaging, etc., but that stuff should be done in the right place. And there's a time and place for all of that. So first thing here, I come to this site and it says nature knows best. But that really doesn't mean anything to me, right? What does nature know best about? What are you selling? What is your product and how can it help me, right? None of these questions are answered in this headline. So that's the first impression I have here is what is this doing? I see a picture of looks like wavy navy. I have to assume a lot from this picture that you're going to help me with perhaps my curly hair. But the biggest message I'm getting out of that is that it's cruelty free, right? Because that's the biggest icon there. So really, you really want to clearly say within 2 seconds, somebody should be able to look at your site, 1001, 1002, I get what they do. I get what they're selling, what pain they're solving for me. And that's just not prevalent here right now. And then they have a lot of copy here, but I bet if we did a eye tracking heat map, which is one of the big data points that we like to do, you would see that people aren't reading this. Because generally they're going to look at the headline, then immediately look at a picture that attracts their attention, and they're going to skip over this. So then you're really kind of hurting yourself by putting shop now here because I'm not ready to shop, right? I have no idea what I'm even buying, what problems I'm solving, what pain you're addressing. So I'm not ready to shop just yet. And that leads me to a second big issue I'm sure we'll see multiple times today. And I should say I haven't looked at any of these sites. I loaded them up and intentionally went to the next tab and quickly loaded the next page because I like to do first impressions. I think that matters, especially for your visitors. So, if we scroll down a little bit here, I'm starting to get into some stuff. But the first thing I see is sale. Well, what does that tell me? Immediately that's telling me your products aren't worth what you're charging for them, right? You're really saying, hey, you need to look at sale first. So that as a consumer, what I'm hearing is, wow, these products are probably fairly expensive. And I don't even know. There's no prices listed. Again, there's no understanding of what these items do for me. Why am I worried about a sale first? Initially, I would just take sale off the board. I wouldn't even have it on the homepage. And I would eliminate that. Still wondering which product is best for your hair? Yes, I am. But what do these do? What does the hair mask treatment do for me? Why would I want hair tools? What does your shampoo do? Rinse off conditioner. So this brand is making a lot of assumptions about what a consumer knows. And I say this all the time. And in fact, I have a whole chapter about it. Got a copy of the book here. We'll talk a little bit about it. We've got a discount code for everybody to get this. But I came out with this book late last year called Opting Into Optimization. There's a whole chapter in here about how brands are stuck within the jar. What I mean by that is it is very hard to read the label from inside the jar. As a brand, you are so close to your products. You're so close to your company. It's an impossible task to understand what it's like for a new to file customer who just gets to your website, what their experience is like. What questions do they have? What challenges are they having? You generally can't understand that because then what you do as a brand is things like this, where you're saying, oh, here's our hair mask treatment. Of course, you're going to want this. But as a consumer, I'm saying, what does that even do? Why would I want to look at that? So, and additionally, you're saying shop now. I'm not ready to buy. This should be a low intent to purchase call to action. What I mean by that is reduce the barrier. Just get people to take the next step. So instead of shop now, something like learn more or view details will go a lot farther than buy now, shop now, add to cart. People aren't ready at this step. What's the goal of your homepage? It should just be to get people to that next step in the process. Sorry, Ben.
How do you account for customers that are coming back? So sale is important if I regularly shop at this place and I just happen to come and be like, oh, I was going to get one thing, but now I'm going to get 5. Yeah. How do you put that in?
Yeah, great question. So in general, what we recommend people do is focus on the first-time customer, because your returning customers will find the information and they already know what they want. So they're basically going to skip right to the product detail page of the products that they're interested in. On that page is a great place to start mentioning sales.
Got it.
Right? But it's too early in the funnel at this stage to really focus on that, because now you're just sending the message that consumers, shouldn't be paying full price for your products. This is also the problem. I imagine we'll see this with discount pop-ups, email pop-ups. I'm kind of known on Twitter as the guy who hates pop-ups, and it's true. The reality here is that when somebody comes to your site, if you immediately pop up and say, hey, join my email list for 10% off or a discount, you were immediately telling people your products aren't worth what you're charging for them. They're worth that discounted price. And I'm a firm believer that discounting is not optimization. It is margin drain. You are just killing your margins by having a discount. And it's a hard hamster wheel to get off of if you start doing it consistently. Some of the best brands I know that have really great margins only discount once or twice a year. Maybe it's around holiday, and they do a very specific type of discounting, which we'll get into. And maybe they have a very themed one. So we've worked with Bear Performance Nutrition. They sell supplements, really clean supplements. He is a well-known personality in fitness, and Nick Bear, and he's also a veteran. So they do a Veterans Day sale once a year, which starts tomorrow, and that's the only day they do discounts all year. And it's themed around something that's important to him. He wants to give back. He was a veteran himself. It's a celebration. But it's core to their core, who they are, their core values, right? That makes sense. Now, most discounting, what you should really be thinking about is adding, not subtracting. So many people do things like sale, we're going to take 10% off, we're going to give you dollars off. Instead of removing dollars or percentage, focus on what you can add. Add free shipping, or add free gift with purchase, or sell a bundle, right? That works out to a little bit lower of a price point. What can you add as value as opposed to subtracting dollars and percentage? You will see that is much more sustainable, and it flips the psychology of it for the consumer. So maybe we'll keep going down. So this is another thing I see quite often where people put their blog on their homepage. The biggest concern with this is a blog is going to be your lowest converting pages on your site. And that is because people come to a blog not with, they're interested in that information that you have in that blog post. They're not necessarily looking to buy. So getting them from your blog to a purchase it's a high barrier. But also, what you really want to do with a blog is it's there just to drive traffic. It's awareness, right? And you have to understand, in that funnel, at the very top is awareness. And that's what you're doing with a blog. So to really put a blog on your homepage is to send people back up the funnel, because they're already on your homepage. They're already in that shopping pattern. And now you're sending them back all the way up that funnel to awareness. They're at your site. They're aware of you already. So generally what we recommend is certainly don't put blog in your navigation, and certainly don't have it on your homepage. Where should you keep that content? Well, obviously in a blog section of your site to drive that traffic, but also where it can be helpful is when something is, like still wondering what shampoo to use for your hair, put that on the shampoo page. It's helpful at that stage where somebody's saying, oh, well, there's a couple options here. Which one should I use? Now I can go read this article. You have been helpful to me, and it's part of the buying journey at that stage. So it's reusing that content in another way. And let's talk about the nav for a second, because I kind of overlooked it up front, but we just mentioned it. I would certainly never put home in the navigation. Consumers know we have been trained to click on the logo if we want to go home, or they'll just use the back button, right? Blog I already mentioned. I would include that in the nav. Shop, I would really, instead of having shop, I would focus on what are the reasons people would use your products. So is it to hydrate your hair? What are these different items for, right? Which I still am not 100% clear on. I see a lot of curly hair, so I'm assuming it's products for curly hair. But giving this some thought around why people would do these. What's the outcome people are looking for? That's what I would focus on here. And then the new badge doesn't really tell me anything other than, hey, you just came out with products that you're selling. I don't know what that new badge really means. And then generally we want to avoid the word us in our navigation. Anything that is talking about the brand and is not as helpful to the consumer, I would not put in your navigation. So focus on products and solving problems for people. So about us should not be in the navigation. Consumers aren't here to read about why you founded the company. Where you can put that content is, again, along the shopping journey where it might be helpful. So that's something to think about there. And then in terms of contact, if consumers want to get a hold of you, have a customer service challenge, we have been trained to scroll down and look in the bottom right-hand corner. So scroll down to the footer. That's where we're going to get our contact information. So most people who this would be helpful for are just passing right by it and coming down here to the footer.
Okay. So for all of these types of things, sort of the administrative types of links, like would you consider the blog be down in the footer as well with all of the, okay.
Yep, 100%. I see that Charlie asked a question, where would you put that? I would put that, Charlie, down in the footer. And again, I would have the blog content throughout the site where the individual articles would be helpful, right? So that's something I would think about there. Let's talk about the footer for a second. Well, okay, let's actually talk about this lockup. Oh, Ben, you have a question?
Can I pause you on the
Please.
on the navigation? What are your thoughts on Wishlist?
Generally, I don't see it get used that often, unless you are something like an Amazon where you have hundreds of products plus, right? Here, I can't imagine, looking at what they have. I bet they probably have under 40 products. Is it that helpful? I don't know. Probably not. It's something I would test. My guess is that not a lot of people are using this. The easiest way to find out for your site is to set up a click tracking event in Google Analytics and see how many people click on that button. And I bet you that for the majority of sites, it's going to be a very, very low number. And so then you can make the determination, do you want to keep it or get rid of it? Generally, I would say get rid of it if people aren't using it. It's a good question because it does have functionality and it can be useful. But when you only have a handful of products, it's probably not as helpful. Also, with the rate at cookies expire now, unless you're getting somebody logged in to that wish list to where it's actually saved and they come back and they log in again to get to it, the content just disappears. And that we've found that frustrates a lot of visitors because they invest this time in setting up this wish list and then they come back in 2 weeks and the cookies expired and they're like, where'd my wish list go? So it creates a bigger issue from a customer experience standpoint too.
And then on that as well, like just to finish up that navigation, would you stick the cart, the login, search up there?
Yes, I would. Generally, I would get rid of login because it's probably not very helpful at this stage. Search, I think, is helpful. Again, if you have somebody who is looking for a particular product, it's a great shortcut. We find we've done a lot of research and we have an article up on our site about this that has a lot of data that's worth checking out. But the conversion rate of people who use search is extremely high because it's high intent. They know what they're looking for, right? So you do want to encourage people who are interested in searching to use search because your search result page should be one of your highest converting pages. It's also one of your biggest opportunities because most search result pages are pretty bad. It includes search from a lot of stuff that shouldn't be there. So it's a great opportunity of a page you can optimize.
And with WordPress, there are a number of different tools, different plugins that you can use in order to track what people are searching for on your site. You can also connect that to Google Analytics to kind of pay attention to see, and those search intent types of terms can kind of really get you out of the jar in terms of what people are looking for. And that could probably, I would guess, just based on what you're saying, lend to renavigate or relabeling some of that navigation for those products.
Yes, that is a great insight, Kathy. And one of the things we really do a lot of is in our initial research with new customers, new clients of ours, we will look at that search history and see what are the major search items that people are doing. So it's definitely something to think about there. We do want to encourage people to search, and then we do encourage our clients to keep an eye out on that content. So,
cool.
Yeah. So scrolling down a little bit here, and I know we have other sites, and we've already spent 20 minutes on this one. So, but the idea here is, again, people aren't ready to add to cart. What am I learning about this image and curl queue? I have no idea what that really means, and I'm not ready to add to cart. So again, from a home page, from a category page, it should be lower intent to purchase. Get me to that next step. Also these type of sliders that they have here, I bet, what we would find on a heat map and click map is that people aren't engaging with that. They just don't. Anything that's a slider back and forth like this, consumers just don't engage with. So they're going to see these 4 items, and that's generally going to be it. Let's drop down to the footer. I'm sure we'll talk about footers more throughout today, but there are a couple. There's a really great structure for a footer, and again, we have a whole resource article up on our site about this, but the structure for a footer is pretty clear. We've tested them hundreds of times. The structure is just on the left. The left-hand column should be your product navigation. It should mirror your main navigation of your site, which again should be product or goal-oriented, right, ideally. That should be the same thing on the left. So as a consumer, if I'm scrolling through your site at any point and I want to continue the buying journey and kind of say, oh, what else do they have? I should be able to get there very quickly and see that. So your left-hand navigation, your footer should be product-led. Middle should be support and help links, as I mentioned. And then on the far right should be your contact information. And what do I mean by contact information? We have what we call the trust trifecta. And this really increases trust, as you can hear by the name, right? But the idea here is you should have an email address, a phone number, and a physical address, ideally. Now, it can be a P.O. box in the U.S. It could be, it doesn't have to be your warehouse, although nobody's going to show up, right? I promise you. The idea here is that if I have a problem, I know I can get a hold of you and you're not trying to hide, right? So looking at this site, it's great they have an email address and a phone number. Cairo, Egypt doesn't tell me anything other than, wow, you're in a big city. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like that, okay. But at least I know where they're from, right? And so that does help increase some trust there. So really, those are the 3 that you want on there. And then the other thing that we typically would put into the footer is like an email newsletter sign-up option so that it's at the bottom of every page. That's something we often would want to see here as well.
I have a question about, and I know we've had, I can't find them in the comments to put on screen right now, but we've seen a few comments about the gradients on the buttons. And then also just in terms of, I have some questions about accessibility and just the contrast between the white text and what's behind it. How does accessibility play into conversion rate optimization? Because I'm seeing some issues here, and I was wondering if you could speak to that.
Yeah, so accessibility matters. And in the US and in some other countries, it's a legal right now. And now, I will say that a lot of it is predatory, unfortunately, but there are a lot of e-commerce sites getting in legal trouble lately by people doing lawsuits saying, hey, I'm blind and I can't access your website. Whether or not they'd be a shopper on your site, I don't know. But I've had a lot of people, a lot of clients and stuff who are saying, I've gotten letters that are, hey, we're in trouble for this. So that's one reason to do it is to make sure that your site's accessible for everybody, so you're not eliminating potential customers. And also, a lot of those enforce good usability, right? They enforce a great customer experience anyways. What do I mean by that? Well, when you roll over an image, often I want to see a description pop up of that image. And so having alt text on an image is just going to be helpful to begin with. It's also going to help your search engine optimization. So really good reasons to do it beyond accessibility. Having contrast. Now, I'm not a fan of saying button colors matter, because they don't. What matters is not the specific color, the contrast is what matters. Now, that helps with accessibility, but it also helps make it stand out off the page and will increase the clicks. So you'll see a lot of articles. There's one article that's a legend that says, some brand made $50 million or something of that sort by changing their button colors from red to green. And it's like, okay, unlikely, right? I've never seen anything like that happen around specific button colors. Your button colors should be on brand, but they should have contrast. So don't put a gray button on a black background, right? It's just not going to pop off very much. Make it white, right? You want the high contrast. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and
somebody asked, so I don't believe button colors should be part of AB. No, I don't. I think that it's probably a waste of a test, quite honestly. I would stick to branded colors and look for contrast. If you're testing button colors, you probably are, how do I say this gently? I guess it's really a beginner type of test. So it's not really something I would recommend testing. You see it on a lot of checklists, but it's not something that's going to move the needle for the most part. All right. Should we go on the next site?
Yeah. That was some really great insights there. And thanks for all the questions, everybody. Keep them coming. We'll pop them in as we can. But yeah, we're getting a lot out of this.
Awesome. I'm missing a lot of them because they pop up really quickly. So
They do.
by all means, please do let me know if I've missed them. I would love to be able to help there. All right. So let's see. Let's look at this next one. Lifebox Food.
And to clarify, this is not their home page. This is a sale page, a landing page.
Okay, great. So I'll start by saying that I hope the first thing that they do is there's a connection between that copy and design of the ad and this page. So that is very, very important that the context comes through. It doesn't happen as much as I'd like to see. We have a lot of clients who come to us and they're running a whole bunch of ads, and then the ad has no connection to the landing page they're sending that traffic to. And that's a huge mistake. Not only is it going to, now I'm not an expert on driving traffic, but I do know that Google, you will pay more for your ads and your clicks because your score will be lower with Google, your ad score. So it's part of the algorithm that Google looks at, et cetera. But I would say, just make sure there's a connection there. Now, again, first thing here is there's a lot of text here. What am I even looking at? I get that an ad is generally going to drive to a sale page, so I'm okay with having a little bit of a discount here or something of that sort. But again, maybe don't focus on $1 off or percentage off. Focus on what you can add to the equation here. The November box is worth a massive $45 and get it for $12. Okay. But again, you're selling the value instead of what the benefits are here, right? So you're selling the discount. So what else is there? Why would I be excited about this beyond just the discount? Is it that I'm going to love my unboxing surprise? I see that as a secondary text there. I'm going to discover new treats and healthy boxes. Great. I think all of that is a value add that I would rather see than focusing on me saving the dollar. But it's a lot of text here. And then I really still aren't clear on what I'm getting, but I'm supposed to add it to my cart, right? So this goes back to what's the goal here? The goal here is to get people to, on a landing page, it's also to get, it's often to get them to scroll down, right? And somebody said that also the cross price is 24, not 45. That is awesome, because that's so true. As a consumer, I'm now looking at this like, oh, wow, what is going on here? What do I trust? What do I believe? So then I have to read all of this. Oh, it's actually a subscription that I'm signing up for. It's not a one-time product. Most people aren't going to read this. They're going to have no idea. If you'd rather delay until the first, use this code. Okay, now I'm lost. I'm basically signing off because you're asking a lot of me. We like to call it cognitive load. What you're making people do is think way too much here. So, who's talking about it? I do like social proof. I think social proof works extremely well. We've tested a lot of it, but focus on what's the most impactful. Or if you want to show that you've been in 100 different places, just do small logos and make it about being overwhelming with the amount, the number, and put them all on the screen at once, right? Or say something like, been mentioned in 100 plus places. Here's a couple of the most ones you're going to notice the most or know the most. But again, doing the scrolling like this, generally consumers aren't going to come through and click on this. Anything that's moving on the screen is going to get a lot of visual attention, so it needs to provide value. And here, I don't know that it's providing enough value with this social proof. Fancy a sneak peek? Check out our recent boxes. Okay, why do I care about recent boxes? Well, maybe as I've read above, it's because they're all different. So give me an example. So I would say instead of check out our recent boxes, like here's an example of what you'll get. I think that's more helpful for the consumer. Okay, so why Lifebox? Now we're talking a little bit more. I would like to see this is up top as one of the main areas of content, so I know what I'm actually looking at and why I should care about this. I think that's going to matter a lot more. Now, FAQs. I'm not a fan of putting FAQs on a page like this or even on a site at all. The reason being, FAQs is where good content goes to die. If it truly is a frequently asked question, you should be answering that question where it's being asked. So at what point of the journey is somebody having that question? Answer it there, right? Just flat out put the content on there. Instead of making somebody go to an FAQ, wade through a bunch of stuff that doesn't apply to them, and then hoping that they're going to click on that content to read. And think about all the steps that somebody's had to go through when they just had a simple question. Now, again, with subscriptions, this is interesting, but maybe instead just have this content on the page. I think that's going to be a lot more, just have the text out there. There's two things that are happening here. One is consumers, these type of, we call them accordion navigations. Visitors very rarely click on those. And often they don't even know they can. The plus is a little helpful. It's a great sign. Changes text color. That's all great. But we don't find they get a lot of engagement. The second thing is, for anything SEO related, Google will not index, or it will severely reduce the value of that content for indexing if it is hidden when the page first loads. So you are essentially cutting yourself off from SEO, anything that could be helpful in here, because it's hidden when the page first loads, so Google won't typically rank that content, won't include it in its algorithm, because they don't want, SEO people have ruined it for the rest of us, but what Google doesn't want is you to hide content just to get listed that you're not trying to show a consumer, right? You just want Google to index it. So I like that they have another add to cart or buy button here. I think they've gone far enough down the page. which is interesting. And then join thousands of Lifeboxers today. This is really helpful content. I would actually put this up above the logos instead of the logos. Have a great quote. This quote, I think, is too long. Generally, when we do quotes, what we want is just what's the one sentence that's really impactful. Or if you're doing this, what do you want people to know? Is it that I'm always discovering new products? Then just bold that, right? Make that what stands out. Or it's like a monthly trip to Whole Foods without the hassle, right? So I think all of that's really interesting. And then the page just kind of dies from here. There's no other content down here. I think that's an abrupt ending. End with a call to action on a landing page. Really need to, okay, you convinced me with these. I'm ready to sign up. I would do that. Now, add to cart, I would change to subscribe now because it is a subscription you're signing up for. So make that much more clear to people instead of add to cart. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Well, I was just going to ask because I really like the pictures of somebody actually getting a box. And my first mind is to go to like a video or of somebody unboxing it or something like that. Can you talk to how a video might work on a page like this? Is it helpful?
It can be helpful. It can also be really distracting, right? Because consumers, we have found, love to watch video over read. Not a surprise, right? If I did all of this in an article and posted it up on the Goods website versus doing it live like we're doing today, we would not get very few people would read all of that content versus want to watch it, right? So the reality is that video can be really, really helpful. Video reviews are great, especially like you mentioned unboxing. There's a reason that is a whole industry, an influencer industry now. It works well. But I think what the idea behind that would be is every box is unique or every month box is unique. And it would help, to see that, oh, this is a surprise. And that's the joy people are getting out of it. Oh, I love healthy snacks. Wow, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this today. And they start opening it. I think you can learn as a consumer so much more through a 30-second video than you often can on the rest of the site. So. All right. Let's see here. Should we go to the next one?
Real quick on that one, just because I want to end with like a little bit of advice for this person, because I know what they're trying to get at. They're trying to do a landing page that emphasizes their sale, but if you actually click on the logo and go to their homepage, they're doing a really good job on their actual homepage. And I'm wondering, what would you add to the top of their homepage to fix that? Like, if you just click on their logo and go to their homepage, you see how their like headline is a lot. All of it makes it a whole lot easier. Is there anything you would do here to say like, okay, just take that header into your landing page and add like, limited time extra discount or something like that to it? Is that?
Yeah. I'm wondering if, I wonder what the message is. What's the ad that brought somebody to this landing page? Because that's the missing piece for context. But I agree. Looking at this right now, it's this page, the home page, is such a better. It's going to convert way better just off the bat, in my opinion. I'd want to run some testing on this, but look, already a lot less text. You have your social proof here. You're telling me it's healthy and it's a box of happiness, which, on this page, I have no idea what I'm getting. A November box, but what does that mean, right? And you're focusing on the price here. Here you're focusing on the value, which is the happiness and healthy, right? Discover the joy of natural, right? So treat yourself. Okay, these are all things that I might be interested in. And give me a little more detail. And then you're saying subscribe, right? Which instead of add to cart, right? You're also offering the option to gift. Okay, cool. So a few recent life boxes, right? So I think this page is so much better than the landing page. I would almost stop sending traffic to this page immediately and just change to send it right to the home page. Generally, I wouldn't advise that, but I think that in this case, you probably will convert better. Does that help, Ben? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, I happened to go look at their homepage and I went, this is so much better.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I get it. They're trying to figure out how to connect. And so we don't have that ad piece to know. But I think if they just took their homepage and maybe you add a little bit to connect with the ad, whatever that is, maybe it's the picture or maybe it's the price point. Like they came in knowing it was $12. So you need to say 12. Like maybe you make those connections, but everything else just needs to be the same as your homepage.
Yep. Yeah. Well done. Thank you for calling that out because I hadn't looked at it. Like I said, it's the first time I've seen these on purpose. Okay. I already got on my soapbox about pop-ups and discounting.
But why do so many people do it? Like even the $1 million+ stores, I blows my mind because I'm with you. I'm like, this is so annoying. And I've not even got, like, I don't even know if I'm on the right website yet. And you're already hitting me up. But
exactly. Why? Laziness. Okay. Quite honestly. You look at it and you say, what's the easiest way to get people on my email list? Offer a discount. Right? But is that the most friendly? No. Is it the most effective? Unlikely. I hear all the time, but John, it converts. People sign up. Well, okay, let's think about this. What are the downstream effects of this? The first is you now have discount customers that are only going to look at you as a discount brand forever and here on out. They're never going to want to pay full price because you gave them 10% off right off the bat. So why would they ever come back and pay full price again? What they're going to do is come back and they're going to sign up with that 2-decade-old AOL email address that they use only for junk, right? And they're going to sign up in there, and then they're going to come back, and now what do you have? The same customer in your database twice. And what's happening? Well, you can see here, powered by PostScript. PostScript's charging you to have additional people on your list and send more emails. Works for PostScript, but as a brand, you're eating away at your margins, right? So I look at it as, can you get people on your list through this? Possibly. Is the quality of that list good? No. What's going to happen is people are going to start marking you as spam because they already got their discount, and they're going to unsubscribe right away, etc. So it is a challenge overall to do this, and there's very few positives. The negatives outweigh it dramatically. Okay, let's look at this now. Ordinary habit. What am I buying? What are they solving for me? I have no idea. There's a lot of stuff going on in this image, and I'm lost. I just don't know what it is. Right? Is it a book? Coffee, popcorn, candles, home decor? Looks like a puzzle. Okay, maybe there's some puzzles.
Chocolate. Hot chocolate looks good.
Yeah, right.
Now.
It's like it's 40 degrees here in Portland right now, so I'll take the hot chocolate as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, what's the first thing I see? Free shipping over $75. Now, if you are going to have one of these promo bars, which are very, very popular, then we've tested hundreds of messages. The only ones that really deliver are free shipping. So kudos to them for choosing free shipping up here. It's better than any other discount. Consumers don't look at free shipping as a discount. They look at it as a value add. Okay, now shop. Okay. Puzzles. Well, first of all, it says new, which I'm a fan of including new items within the sub and not just having a new, because what's going to happen is I'm a consumer who's never been here. I want what's new. I'm just going to go click on new, and I'm going to miss everything else. So I'm a firm believer, like if you want, put a little new badge next to journal if you have new journals, right? To let people know. But remember, most of the people coming to your site are going to be new to file customers. It's their first time. And those who have bought from you before or returning know where they want to go. and you can direct them to new products via other marketing channels. They already are on your email list, etc. So something to think about there. Yeah, I all in all, I would say having just shop in your main navigation is not helpful, right? Because it doesn't tell me anything about what you sell, what you do. But if they had puzzles and journals up here, right away, I would know that's what they're selling, right? Again, about and stories, probably not good for the navigation. Am I here to read stories about what story? I don't know what that even means, right? Is it customer stories? Is it, are you selling books, right? I thought maybe that was a book. I think now it's a box with a puzzle in it. So again, not great. We have also done a lot of testing around navigations, and the split navigations with the logo in the middle typically don't perform as well because a consumer, we've just been trained. There's a great book, it's older now, but it still rings true, Don't Make Me Think by Stephen Krug. Great book, and what you're basically doing is making people think here. By not telling them that they're in the right place right off the bat. And that's why you put the logo on the top left. It generally performs well. Let's scroll down a little bit here. Okay, holiday puzzle has arrived, so you sell puzzles. I'm not reading any of this. I'm attracted to the animated image, which doesn't really give me a lot of context, and it moves very, very fast. I would test very simply just having it freeze on that last, right? So freeze right there and not repeat like that. Holiday bundle. This, again, I mentioned contrast for CTAs. That's what I would look at here, right? This does not stick out. So somebody asked about colors. Doesn't matter what color you make that text, it's not popping off the page. So you really need to make it a button. If you want people to click on something, you have to tell them they can click on it and assume that they're just scrolling really fast through the page. What do I see? A button that's going to drag my attention. So don't just do underline like this. Actually make that a button and then have some contrast with it. All in all, there's too much text, not enough what's in it for me, right? Without reading all of this, it really is a problem. Now, great social proof. Again, they did a good job of calling out the one sentence. The one thing that generally we want to see, and it looks like they've done that here, so well done. We want people to be able to click on these and get context around that social proof. Now, what I don't approve of here is that they're actually sending them to Vogue, Wall Street Journal, Refinery29, Goop, etc. Instead, have this be a landing page on your site that you provide that context, a screenshot, a photo of the magazine, whatever it might be. But what is a challenge we've seen a lot of social proof over the past few years is consumers are wising up, and a lot of brands, what they would do is advertise in a magazine or newspaper and then say that they were in there by putting the logo. So that's why these quotes work really well, because it's really hard to advertise in Goop and to be able to put a quote below it and say when you need a guaranteed winner, right? I guess you could say that in your ad copy and then say that you were in Goop and this is the copy, but that's a lot harder to do than just throwing the logo up there because you advertised in Goop, right? So I like the way they've done this, but keep them on your site. Don't drive them off. If I click through this, I guarantee you I'm going to get distracted in the black hole of Vogue. There's going to be something that catches my attention because their job at Vogue is to keep you on their site, right? So the chance of you coming back is pretty slim. We see that a lot with Instagram as well. A lot of brands, what they do is use Instagram social proof, and they have the grid of the Instagram photos, and you click on one. Instead of doing a pop-up on there or like a Lightbox overlay that has the image and maybe some more context, instead they send you right to Instagram. People don't come back. It's a big mistake. Let's see here. Our latest releases, okay, great. I would have a call to action down here. That, view details, learn more. Yes, you can click on the images, but tell people what you want them to do, right? Shop our collection. Okay, these are this I would have higher up on the page. The reason being, this now tells me what products you sell that I can buy. Without, having all of this stuff in the nav, I think you could put in there puzzles, journal, on-the-go games, and accessories, matching cards. I would want to look at what the best sellers are, but just have those 4 or 5 items in the nav, and that makes up your navigation. I saw somebody had the question, what would I put in the nav? Product-based items, Greg. That's what should be in your nav. Not items about yourself or things that you want to market.
Should the product-based nav should be addressing the solution or the outcome of what that product is, rather than the product category? Like, how would you address like puzzles or something like that? Because what we talked about in the previous navigation, we were going for more of a solution-based type of navigation.
Well, let's look at it this way. You could say family fun, right? And you have puzzles, on-the-go games, maybe matching cards goes under there. I don't know. But puzzles, there's a bunch of different categories of puzzles here, right? So you could have puzzles with a drop-down that has those different categories, right? But the idea here is you have to think about context of what a consumer's coming to your site for. Are they coming to Ordinary Habit to solve a problem? Maybe. Are they coming here because they want to have some fun? They saw one of your puzzles someplace, right? So that's really, when it's a product that's meant to solve a problem, like personal care or health related stuff, a lot of that stuff, where if your product is generally trying to solve a specific problem, then yes, you want the navigation to focus around that. If you're you have a product like puzzles, etc., that maybe aren't really solving a problem, it's a purchase that's a nice to have purchase, then I would focus on the product at that point.
Good points.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of text on here. It's too much text by far. Great photography, though. I mean, they've obviously invested a lot into this. It looks beautiful. But I just think I'm looking at the photos and not reading any of the text, and I think that's a challenge. So, we talked about Instagram. Here they are. You can see, maybe you really can't see it there, but if I roll over it, it wants to take me to Instagram. Okay, so let's talk about that footer. I already kind of outlined in one of the last sites the footer, and that's not happening here. There's no product navigation. So if I get all the way down here, I have to kind of scroll back up to get to the products. I guess I could come up to the persistent nav, but again, I have to dive for it, right? So make it easy to just outline what all your products are and do that on the far left. I would move the logo over here to the right, and put that on top of your contact information. You can see here, they don't have any of the trust trifecta, right? So if I'm a new customer, am I going to trust this brand? I don't know. Because who am I giving my money to? What am I, where's this going? If I have a problem, who do I contact? Well, they have contact here, but why not just outlay it pretty clearly on here? So, all right, we have 6 minutes. Is that accurate? Do we want to do some questions? Do you want me to keep going on another site?
Let's keep going. And as long as everybody else we've got a number of people watching, as long as you've got some time, I've got some time.
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to stop hard at the top of the hour. If you're coming back and you're watching this, we're going to have links in the description box so that you can jump to specific sections based on what we're talking about. So we'll keep going if it's okay with you.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a couple extra minutes.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at this. Hellaholics. Wow, it's a bit overwhelming with the navigation. We really recommend no more than 6 or so items in your navigation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items in navigation is way too much. Double what I would want to see. And I think part of this here is it's a bit of a challenge. And I don't know where to start. And so as a consumer coming to the site, do I want 925 silver, stones, bands, Insta shop? Why am I getting sent to Instagram to shop? I assume that's what that is. Yeah, it's sending me Instagram shopping. Probably, these type of lookbook things should be on the homepage. Right? So as a consumer, you want to make it super easy, right? And then again, in the middle of all this, they have free shipping, but now they have 50% discount right off the bat. And, you're telling me your products aren't worth what you're charging. They're worth 50% right off the bat because you're leading with that. So again, shop by collection, but no call to action on these. There's a little box, but really have a clear call to action. Just have a button to drive me into those. And again, what is 925 silver? I don't know what that means. Do most consumers know what that means? I don't know, but I would focus on getting people into rings, necklaces, earrings, or gemstones, and then describing the benefit of what 925 silver means. What is the benefit there? I think the photography is great. I think they're doing a great job on all of that. Here again, I think a clear call to action with a button over these to drive people into those items would be really helpful. But everything says 925 silver, and I don't know what that means. Do you guys know what that means?
No.
No? Okay.
Feels like maybe there was a rebrand. That's the only thing I could guess is maybe it was called 925 silver at one point, but it doesn't line up with the domain name. So I'm immediately confused as someone new to the site.
Yeah. So again, this is where a brand owner is too close inside the jar, right? As a new to file customer, they have no idea what a new to file customer's perspective is here, right? So, the guesses in chat are hilarious right now. Only wear it between 9 and 5, yeah, I guess, exactly. This is where it's like, anyways, I think it proves the point where as a brand owner, you really need to take a step back. And think about so let's talk about a way to do that really quick, because I think that's going to be most helpful out of this. 925 out of 1,000 is silver. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's a good guess, I suppose. The silver purity. Okay. Robin, thank you. I had no idea. And again, that's great that some people know, but here's what I would do. I would take this site, go to a local coffee shop, and stand in line with people who are buying a coffee and say, hey, can I buy your coffee if I just get you to look at my website really quickly and tell me what you think? Right? See what the first impressions are for these people, right? And just, it will cost you $5 to get a quick user test of somebody who doesn't know your brand. Don't do this with somebody that you're friends with. Certainly don't do it with your mom. There's a great book called The Mom Test. Okay. And the whole premise of the book, I'll save you reading it. It's a great book. You should definitely read it, but I'll save you reading it for now. The big premise is you should never ask your mom for feedback because she's always going to be nice to you. Right? She's always going to say, hey, that's a beautiful site, my son. Oh, this is great. Singles Day. Love that promotion right there. Great photo, right? What you want is somebody who doesn't know you and doesn't know your products or site to give you that first impression. So yeah, I think, it's something to, not my mom, right? Yeah. Ask your dad. Yeah. So, the reality, I can sympathize with that too. Yeah. So look, the reality here is, as a father, the reality here is just, I think, really want to talk the language of the consumer, not of your industry. And you really want to bring stuff down. I think the coffee shop test is amazing. It's easy to do. Anyone can do it. It doesn't cost you much. And you're going to get a lot of people in line who say no thanks, whatever, but you will get a handful of people. And even if you only get 5 people to do it over the course of a couple hours, you will learn so much. All you have to do is ask people to navigate your website and speak out loud about what they're thinking, right? what is the first impressions, and then just tell me what your process is. And then you can even take it a next step and further test and say something like, I want you to buy the best ring for you, and just do a high level. Find the best ring for you, right? And then they have them go through that process, right? So now they're actually diving deeper with a purpose. Can they get to what they want to get to at that stage? So a couple things to think about there. Okay, so any other questions on this?
Do you have any overall advice for whether or not people should use full width content where like text and images expand as large as the screen, or is there like some comfortable max widths that you like to stay with? Any thoughts on that?
I think your site should be responsive. I did see that comment pop up that it has poor responsiveness. You know, I'm afraid to shrink my screen while I'm sharing it, only because I think that might mess up the display. But the reality here is we typically do mobile first, and you know, that is really important. More traffic is generally coming from mobile these days than not. But we still find more conversions happen on a desktop. And that is especially true for higher price point or more involved products. So if you have a specialty product, like we work with a company that does a high-end baby monitor with video camera, they do sensing of breathing on a child, all this stuff. And that high-end is, you know, going to get more conversions on desktop because it's very detailed. It's very technical. People want to do their research because, you know, it's a product for a baby, and they're concerned about who might see the video feed, et cetera, right? And these are all things that we learned through user testing as well, right? That we wouldn't have known if we hadn't talked to consumers through that process. So
are people like researching more on mobile, or just kind of browsing on mobile? And then when it comes to making purchase decisions, they're heading to the desktop to actually do that.
Yeah. And I will say that mobile purchases are continuing to gain steam, right? So I think it is happening a lot more, and you're seeing that being adopted more. Things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, Shop Pay from Shopify, all those have really helped make mobile adoption a lot easier. But think about how you use your phone. You're sitting watching TV, you're just chilling out, right? Just like a long day, and you're on your phone just browsing, and something catches your attention. Maybe you save it for later. Maybe you look at it a little bit, but then you're like, you know what? I don't want to enter my credit card number on my phone. I'm going to go to my desktop and do this later. Or tomorrow when I get to work, I want to remember to look at that page and make that purchase. Right? So it's a research tool for sure as well. We see a lot of people in store who are using, using it to research on the fly. Like they're in the aisle looking at different products and they want to know what else is available. Maybe they're in the US, like Target is a big one where people go and maybe they only have one or two from a brand, but they want to see what else that brand has online, right? Or they can't find their size in a store. Does the online shop have it, right? So those are items.
Gotcha.
Charlie, why do I have contact us? Because we're a B2B site. We're a completely different context. We sell to other brands who want to make it as easy as possible to purchase from us, and it's a consultative sale. So they want to call and have a conversation. So we need to start that conversation. So that's the big conversion point for us. So that's why. So, yeah. All right. I know we're about 5 minutes over.
Yeah, we can wrap it. We could wrap it here if you'd like. We've gone
great.
through the most of the sites that have been submitted to us. I know you have some offers. We talked about the book.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to pull that up? Or you want to do it?
Yeah, if you could. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
So a couple of things I mentioned, opting into optimization. I have a copy here, but you can get a copy for 50% off. Use the code KadenceWP. Just go to thegood.com/OITO for opting into optimization. You can also get $150 off an assessment. If you liked what you heard today, you can have one of our teams go through your site, look at 3 key pages. There's more if you just go to thegood.com/assessment and check that out. Sign up for our emails, or just if you have another question I didn't get to, something that I didn't see in the chat. I know there was a lot of stuff going through there. Thank you all for being so engaged. But just email me, john@thegood.com. Nobody's abused it yet over 15 years, so I'm happy to give it out. Hopefully respect. So, the best way if you want us to go over your site is to look at the assessment. Remember that coupon code, and it'll get you $150 off. So, and if you are interested in the book, you can get an ebook. If you're international, we can also send it to several countries. It's also on Amazon, but you get 50% off if you come to us and get it. So, yeah.
Great. Looks like we've got some folks who have already gotten the book and they're
Awesome.
ready to roll. So, and I also want to mention that your Twitter, The Good on Twitter is posting lots of great content. You're also doing a lot on LinkedIn as well. So if people are like done with email and they want to follow what The Good has to offer, Twitter and LinkedIn, I've seen a lot of great content from your organization. And, you should follow us too, if you're not already. I bet you everybody here is already. But if you're not, KadenceWP is who we are on all of our socials, and we try to stay pretty active too. And we're following The Good because we learned a lot, didn't we, Ben?
It's very interesting to hear John talk. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I have a ton of notes of things like, I never considered that. So this has been an amazing conversation, and we're just really grateful that that you were able to join us today and to share all of your insights. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. And if I got you to just think differently about a few things, then my job here was done and time well spent. So I appreciate you having me today. It was a lot of fun to do these again.
Yeah, it was very exciting to have you here. I mean, the reason we're doing this is because as a theme and, well, basically a solution developer for all of these people who are using WordPress, we want you to be more effective. We are giving you the tools to build really amazing websites, but if you're making decisions with the tools that aren't as effective, then we're not helping you. So we want to help you make more effective websites. We want to give you the insights from people like John, who can give you the advice and the experience and the data to back all of that, to show you what you need to do with the tools that you get from Kadence in order to make more effective websites. If you are having a Black Friday sale, we wish you so much luck. And if you want to know about a Kadence Black Friday sale, make sure you're on our list or follow us on all the socials and all of that, because as a part of a large organization, we have a Black Friday sale coming up. So keep in touch with us, and thanks for attending today. We will see you all again soon. Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.